are going live now, indeed, with YouTube and Facebook. Hello, everybody. Please give
Hello.
me, hello, Vlad. Please give me a minute to get our LinkedIn live. LinkedIn needs a minute actually to see the live streaming and to enable the button to go live. So we'll need to wait a few seconds, but please smile because the first picture that it captures with LinkedIn, it is the one forever as a thumbnail on your video, and there is no way. Yes, now we are live also on LinkedIn. This is absolutely great. Thank you very much, Vlad, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Honestly, it's a very special evening for me. Frankly, I'm just coming out of few very, very difficult days, but still, I didn't want to miss this no matter what. This discussion with Vlad is one I've been looking forward to, and I'm really, really excited to welcome the wonderful Vlad Mihalcea. Vlad, hello, good evening. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really glad that I can provide my and share my stories with you. And thank you very much for everyone who joined today this podcast. And I hope that is going to be useful what we're going to discuss in this podcast.
Thank you for the help, Vlad. We really appreciate that. You're welcoming the audience. That's great. Thank you for this. Vlad, our habit in this show, before we go to the real business, we start by this typical question. Tell us, please, about your own personal journey, how you've become the Vlad you are today. Feel free to talk about spouse, partner, children, pets, hobbies, whatever you wish.
Everything.
Yes, on a personal level, non-career level. And then we will talk about
On the
Java
personal
and
level.
career and books. Yes, please.
On the personal level, yeah, actually this is I think this is the first, because most of the time everyone wants to hear your career, your professional story. Never Almost no one asks you about what is your personal story. So my name is Vlad Mihalcea. I was born and I'm currently living in the same country, which is Romania. I was born in Constanța, which is near it's on the seaside, the Black Sea, on the Black Sea. But now I live in Transylvania. When I say
Mhm.
Romania, not everyone knows where Romania is. But if I say that I live in Transylvania, everyone knows. Everyone knows
Amazing.
this, the story behind behind Transylvania. So that's easier for me to relate to, and for people to pinpoint where I live. So I live in Cluj, and this is the town. I live in the town where I graduated. I graduated uh, telecommunication, electronics, and telecommunications. So I don't have a degree in computer science, as people might expect. I'm more of an engineer, and I think that's the reason why I got into databases and performance engineering, because it's very much close to what I also studied in school. Even if it's still in the context of computer science. And after I graduated, I started working for a company which was called Arts of Consult. And then while working, I also got married and I have two kids. And the reason why I enjoy working from home and having my own business is that I can mix the work also with the family time, and going and picking up my kids from school, driving them to school as well. And I think this is the freedom that you get from this. It's great, because after all, life is not just about work, it's also about everything else in between. Work is just a part of it, but then there are many, many other parts which together form this beautiful journey which we call life.
Absolutely amazing. Would you believe me if I say that I was twice in Cluj?
Wow, that's great. It oh, that's great also, because Cluj is not really like a tourist
It's not an
destination.
international hub.
Exactly. Most of the people go to Sibiu, Brasov, which are much more famous. But it's I hope you liked it here in Cluj.
I had
This
some
is
business in Satomare.
in Satumare. Yeah, I think that.
That's why I went through Cluj.
Mhm. So yeah, I'm glad that you went here. I think that Transylvania is a very nice part of Romania, which has a lot to offer to
Yeah,
people
food
who
was
want to
good
come
there
here to
too.
visit.
Food was good.
Yeah, food is very in this part of Europe. I think that everywhere you go, food is going to be very nice.
Okay, let me start with this first question.
Mhm.
Um, Looking at you as a Java champion and as an entrepreneur at the same time, and the balance between the two, you hold one of the highest technical honors in the Java world, and you also run a successful business. When you're making high stakes decisions, who wins, the perfectionist software architect or the pragmatic CTO?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I think that in the end you need both. Um I would say that in terms of like for professionalism, you need a high level of quality.
Hmm.
If you are, for instance, if you are a solopreneur like I am here, and it's
Hmm.
basically my business revolves around these offerings that I'm giving, like training and consulting and
Hmm.
the products that I have. I think that quality and striving to be the best in your niche is going to make a difference, because this is what you're going to compete, and you want to provide the highest possible level of quality. Otherwise,
Hmm.
people might go somewhere else, and you don't want that. So you want to win clients and also hold them for so they have a very good experience to come back to you. Also, when it comes to business, as you said, sometimes you have to uh, you cannot strive only for, so you have to maintain the level of quality, but you also uh, have to keep an eye on everything that is being developed. You have to also try new things where at first you might not do the best possible job. And I can give you an example. When I started
Hmm.
writing on my blog, I had no idea how to write well. So
Hmm.
I just did it. So when you do something like that, right from the start, you try it, but you know that you're not going to do the best possible job at first. So you're going to still learn while doing it. So I try to keep on doing that, trying new things. I tried this with social media. I tried this. I'm currently trying it with AI, because at this moment everyone talks about AI and everyone tries to figure out how to get the best out of AI. No one really knows for sure what really works and what will work 6 months from now, 1 year from now, how to integrate in very complex organizations. So everyone tries to figure this out. So I think that we're also, well we're, so it's like a spectrum. Well, we strive for perfection in some areas where we had enough time to reach that level of perfections. We are still beginners in other aspects, because the industry keeps on shifting and changing and requires us to adapt and to reinvent ourselves. So I think, yes, in the end it's a mix where you try to do your best, but it's impossible to always do your best, especially if you're trying something for the very first time. You still have to figure it out. So I think that you aim to do your best, but in the end you don't know until you start doing it what works and what doesn't.
Absolutely. But let me maybe illustrate my idea or the idea of my question with an example. Let's say if you're working on a project and you are being the CTO and you want to be pragmatic. So you realize that you have some wishes for the code, but you know that you have a limited budget. So you have to
Mhm.
choose where you cut. But you, as actually the programmer, actually have other perspective, have another view. Like let's say, for example, you're in between two things: the perfectionist software architect who really wants to do perfect code and deliver the perfect code, and at the same time you realize that you have to be a pragmatic CTO and you have to choose where to cut and where to allocate budget. Think please back and let me know who wins, and if not, what balance do you find?
Well, yeah, if you put it that way, then yeah, the change it really changes. It really changes the perspective. So previously I was talking from my own solopreneur and exactly what I'm doing, which is just I would say that it's not applicable to the vast majority of context. So in a company context, in an organization where you have a company with a lot of people, and there are many things that you have to balance. I would say that in this context, for the question that you asked, the most important thing is to provide, and it's very important not to forget about that, is to provide value to the user. That's the most important thing. Everything else is just supporting that. So everything, you have to keep an eye on what are you building and why are you building something like a project. It's for the user. So this is the most important thing. So everything that revolves around the value that you produce, that has the highest priority. Everything else is to support. And I can give you an example for this. From Meta, for instance, who builds Facebook. When they started using PHP and MySQL back in 2003, 4, 5, something like that. And there was a time when they realized that probably MySQL wouldn't be the best database to support their graph structure, social media they had there. So they built Apache Cassandra, which is a very popular NoSQL database, which would fit better. They believed that it would fit better their graph that they have there for users. And then in the end, they still end up using MySQL, and they built a different engine, data engine for MySQL. And even today, you can go back on GitHub and still find that they are using MySQL, and somehow a version that is compiled for PHP. So think about it. You have these two technologies, PHP and MySQL, which are not as, I would say, not very appealing for many software developers who always dream of using the latest technologies or something that is more, has more appeal, more hype. And for the end user, and they have like 2 billion users, this is not really relevant. No one cares what what Facebook is using, whether they are using MySQL or they are using something else. They want the value. That's the most important. What are you getting back from the platform? So this is something that everyone should keep in mind. So if we are building a product, the most important thing is the value that we are producing, and then of course it's very important to take very good decisions when it comes to um, um, technical decision and technical architecture decision that we are taking. But at the end of the day, I think that we should prioritize the product part. So I think that there was some technical problem, maybe. I think I've lost my co-host. So I've never used this StreamYard before. So I think there's some technical issue on my co-host part. But in the meantime, I could continue this discussion we had previously to try to elaborate it in much more details, if you may. So basically, I can give you some examples, and a very interesting example that I try to give to people when I'm usually doing my training is the Shopify use case. And I think that the Shopify use case is one of, and also the Stack Overflow and the Stack Exchange use case. But let's stick to Shopify. So Shopify is a platform that allows people to build shops or to sell products, merchandise over the internet. And why I'm giving this example is because the technology that they use behind looks very close to what I presented previously, which is basically what Facebook is using as well. So they are using MySQL, and also they are using they're not using PHP, but they're using Ruby on Rails for the platform, and they're not using microservices, which are very popular in many enterprise applications. So they have this very common stack, Ruby on Rails with MySQL, and they took this very common stack, and they created a modular monolith that you can scale. And from the perspective of the user, this is completely irrelevant. And how they invested, so they invested their effort into building something that could scale and that they can rapidly develop feature for this technology that they are having. And in the meantime, what's interesting, if you want to check on
Vlad, can you
social.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. So I think you had some
Hello?
technical problem. Hello, can you hear me? So I can hear you really well.
I'm sorry. I definitely apologize. I lost all power. There is very, very heavy rain and a thunderstorm where I am, and I
Okay.
apologize. Lost actually complete power. So I'm really sorry, but I have no power whatsoever. I only have the battery of my phone and limited internet connection. I'm really sorry. I apologize for that. Are you okay to continue, or would you prefer that we
Sure,
stop
sure.
here?
No, we can continue if you want. So I was
I'm
giving
sorry, I
some
can't hear
really.
you. Give me
Oh,
1
you
second,
cannot.
please.
Okay. So now you can hear me?
Yeah, I think it's a permission things. Would you kindly just grant me 1 minute, please?
Yeah, no problem. So I would continue the story that I was giving. So in the case of Shopify, if you go to social media, if you go every time you have like a Black Friday or you have like a Cyber Monday, they would.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
cannot
Give
hear
me 1 second. Let me try to use actually a third device.
Okay, no problem. So going back to the story that I was telling, you can see on social media that they're posting every year higher and higher numbers when it comes to scaling. And from the end user, it doesn't really matter what technology they are using. And the second example I wanted to give was for Stack Exchange. Stack Exchange is the company that created Stack Overflow, and Stack Overflow
Hello,
is very popular.
Vlad,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you really well. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? So I suppose you don't.
I apologize, I can't hear you.
Oh, that's a shame. So going back to that
Hello?
example, hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear
Oh,
you now.
perfect,
Please continue.
perfect. So I was giving in the meantime for there was a technical problem, and that's why my co-host had to for a short time he had to go. So I was continuing the story that I was giving. So I gave an example for before we had that technical issue. I was explaining the story of Meta and Facebook, and then I gave another one for Shopify, and the last one, this one is for Stack Exchange. And Stack Exchange is the company that created Stack Overflow, and Stack Overflow is very well known for developers because that's where they would, before AI, they would go to find answers to their technical questions. And why I'm giving this example, because Stack Exchange was sold in 2021 for 1.8 billions of dollars. So it's a huge,
Wow.
huge amount of money.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it was basically a Q&A website. And if you take a look on the technology side, it was built using Microsoft technologies like SQL Server. They only had like 2 SQL servers and some IIS servers and Redis cache. So was something very, very simple that was built, and it created so much value for the shareholders in the end. And I think that's amazing. So I'm telling this story because this is, in the end, this is what really matters. So they built something that was technically extremely well architected, so it was performing extremely well with very, very limited resources that they allocated to it. And the team was actually very small at the very beginning. There were like 10, 20 people creating something for the entire world in a very agile fashion, because there were just a few people there. And in the end, it for financially for them was like hitting the jackpot, because I mean, I'm not sure how if they got diluted over the time from the beginning to till the moment they sold it actually. But I think that in the end they managed to provide a lot of value to the world, and they were rewarded for that. So if you have to, I think this is the perfect example that in the end, the people and the world doesn't reward you for the technical decisions you made. They reward you for the business decisions that you made and for the value that you created. So I think this is the perfect example for that. No one cared that they were using SQL Server and Microsoft technologies. If you asked people, they would tell you that would probably never worked at the global scale, but they proved it that it worked, because in the end it really doesn't matter what technology you're choosing, as long as you're doing the right, using it properly. You can create the same value using almost any technology stack. But the people will reward you for the actual business value that you create. So I took a very long route to try to answer your question while you were gone.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you're welcome.
Let me come back to the beginning. Let me come back to the beginning. You you mentioned that you didn't study coding or Java at the university as a programmer, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much correct. I only had some courses, like just one course about Java.
Mhm. And despite that, you are the author of maybe the most famous Java book on earth, correct?
I wouldn't say the most famous, but I think that it did very well. For thinking thinking back, that I didn't have like a publisher behind me to promote it, so I think that it was it was very good.
Okay, okay. Um, Tell us why you believe the book succeeded so well. What was so special about it? How was it different from other books in the same choice of stack or in the same niche?
Well, I think, yeah, I to answer this, I will have to go back a little bit in time to tell you that I didn't actually start it
Mhm.
with the book. Actually, when I started with the blog. And while blogging, I I could use the blog to realize what people are interested in, because whenever I was posting an article, I could see the reactions. So by the time I decided to write the book, it was like I would already run like a marketing research and collected the feedback to know that people are interested in this type of content. And then I used my own experience where we were developing applications and we had performance problems, and I didn't have one resource to go to solve my problem. So I'd have to go to a lot of resources that they are all over the internet, and to try to assemble all these informations, bits and pieces together in order to find the answer. So I knew that if I had something like that, it would be useful, because it would have been useful for me as well. So when I started writing it, I somehow got got a validation for my for this requirement. So I knew that there is a need. So I only had to write it properly to fulfill the need. But it was not like a shot in the dark. So I was not trying to. I was not trying to shoot an arrow in the dark, no, and then trying to figure out whether it would work or not. So somehow I knew that there was a need for it, and the time that I spent on my blog also helped me become better and better at writing, because at the very beginning I've never excelled in this. I mean, I went to the telecommunication and to the I studied math and physics. I was not I didn't spend too much time writing and reading literature in order to to be a very good writer. So the texts were against me when it when it came to writing. But by investing more and more time into something which is of course technical writing, eventually I think that you are going to learn how to get better and better. I don't think that I don't compare myself to like a regular writer who writes like extremely good books, but to convey some information, I think that I got to the point where it became easier, and I have a feeling of how to write something in order for people to enjoy reading it. So I got to that to that point. So I think it also went well because it was unlike using a publisher. It was just me who published it, and then I only had to promote a book. A publisher will have to promote 100 books, so it's very difficult to focus. For a publisher, it's very difficult to focus on a single book. But in my case, it was just me, so I could focus on promoting my own book. So I also used the blog and the social media for that, to promote it. I went to conferences. I tried to advertise it a little bit. So in the end, I think that's basically what I did in order to promote it. It was not like I think it was a side effect of everything else that I was doing in the end. So it was like this.
So did you print it at the same time and publish it digitally?
Yes. So it was at first it was available only in the as an ebook, because I used LeanPub for both to write it and to publish it at first and to sell it as a digital product. And they also give you the possibility of transforming it into the format that is required by Amazon in order to print it. And then I used Amazon KDP
Yes.
for the printing part. So it's printed on demand. So when you buy it from Amazon, it's fully automated. They have like a printing press or something like that, where they print the book and then they will deliver to your home.
Great. Okay. And frankly, what was the most important outcome of publishing the book for you? How did that change you?
So I think that one very good outcome was that it helped. If it weren't for the book, I would have a lot of articles, but they didn't follow a structure, or it would be very difficult to get or to follow them from one article to the other, to skip. There would be like hundreds of articles which are optimized for answering one question, but not to dive more into it, or to have like a clear structure where you can where you can start from one part and then finish and understand a given topic in depth. So I think that the goal of the book, and what was the good outcome of the book, was that it allowed me to give more thought into how I would combine all that information in order to provide a product. The book is also a product that helps you learn this topic and guides you through all this matter and all these very difficult problems, in order for you to finally understand and get a better understanding of the topic. And another good outcome was that the book allowed me to transform the material also into a training and then into a video course to easily transform, because once I had it, it was very easy to convert it into other types of uh,
Yes.
training materials, like a training or a video course, which you may say that, but aren't they the same? No, they are not really the same, because the way that you're writing a book is very different than the way that you are training something live, or you're doing you're delivering that knowledge through a video
Yes.
course. So it's very, very different. But if you have the material, I would say that it's a good start too. So that was, I would say, a very good outcome of that book. It was the book before
Okay.
the training and before the video course.
Great. People with great ideas like yourself, once they have managed to get organized, to get disciplined, and to bring their knowledge to the public by writing a book, usually they don't stop at one book or one course. Usually ideas start coming to them and they develop this author mind, and they start actually seeing almost everything around them as a story that could go on the next book.
Yes,
So,
that's true.
what is Vlad's next book?
So my next book is definitely going to be the second edition of my book, because as I said, technology keeps on evolving and we have to adapt, and I will have to adapt the book to the latest development that we've had over the past 10 years. So I think that my next book is going to be the second edition of my first book. The reason why I haven't wrote, although I had ideas, I didn't write other books, was that I focused on other things because I have limited time. So I focused on creating the video course for it, and then I did training. So I focused also on shaping the material better for the training. But then I didn't write a new book since the first one. I created multiple courses actually. So I created 3 courses, because the courses go hand in hand also with the training. So they create like a bundle. So for this reason, I focus more on the training, on the video course part over the past I would say 5-6 years. But for sure that I'm not going to stop writing, or this is my plans is to write more as well in the future.
Great, great. Now, of course, the question you probably have expected, where do you see AI driving the evolution of Java in the next 5 years, if AI continues to evolve at the same speed at which it is evolving now?
So I think that I don't think that it's something that limits to Java, or that it's limited to Java, because whatever works for Java would work for any other programming language. So in a way, I think that now it's even easier to convey whatever you want to build into any type of to using any type of technology. So now I could take one idea that I have, and I can use AI to build that idea, no matter what technology is behind that, or was used to build the product. So it could be Python, it could be Java, it could be any other technology. So I think that from this perspective, AI is going to. I think that AI is going to allow us to address and to build products that previously were not feasible because of the cost for building them. Because building software is very costly. Actually, it's everywhere. I think no matter where you go, developers have have, it's not just in the US, but I think that everywhere developers have like a high cost. It's a high cost. You have to pay them a lot, and it takes a lot of time to build something. It takes many iterations, and that's why it's very costly to build product. But using AI, you can lower that cost, and you can address and you can build some products that previously you wouldn't do, because it would be very expensive, and unless you'd be sure that you can get something out of it, you wouldn't build it otherwise. So I think that now it's much cheaper to do it. It's much easier to try. because if it fails, then you didn't have to invest a lot, so you have more shots. You can try, you can try more. And it's not just that. I think that developers are the in this context, developers are very well equipped for doing this, to transition to like a solopreneur, because you have the knowledge, you can validate. And it's very difficult for someone, even if someone out of the IT industry now can use AI to build some products, it's very difficult for that person to validate what they are building. Also, they wouldn't know whether something, the more that you are iterating over it, you don't know what is going to be the limit of AI. So maybe if they hit if they hit a situation where no AI product can fix it, then what are you going to do then? If you are a developer, you can find a solution, because you've been doing this for in my case for 20 years. I had to rely on the internet, Stack Overflow, books, whatever. You had to find a solution. So if you are already a developer, I think that you are very well equipped for using AI to provide business value. But in the end, you have to focus on that, which relates to your previous question. If you are focused on the business value, then AI is going to be just a tool, like all the other tools that you've been used before. If you focused on the process of building and the technology that you had before, then you'd be scared that using AI completely transformed that. But I think that's not really why people were hiring us as developers. They were hiring us to create real value in the business world, no matter how you would do that. So AI is, I would say, is just a tool, but we're playing the same game in the end. Because it's just that it changes the way that we're playing it, but in the end, the outcome should be basically the same.
Talking about how AI changes the game,
Mm-hmm.
how do you use AI at your work? Which models do you use, and what do you use them for?
So I'm a very big fan of Claude. So I tried a lot of, and I didn't try all of them. So I tried a lot of them, but in the end, I think that, so I have let me round a little bit. I have my brother. My brother is a designer, and he doesn't have any programming experience, but he's now building a really nice project using AI. And he's been trying even more AI tools than me. So at first, he was very impressed, even in 2023 when GPT
Yes.
3.5 or 3.0 emerged.
Yes.
So he was very impressed even then. I tried it back then. I was not very impressed because I had my own expectation of what I should get out of AI. So I wanted something that it's really amazing. So I wanted to be amazed. And at that point, I was not really amazed. So I was telling him, yeah, well, it's okay. I mean, you can do that. But he was amazed because for him was he would get a lot of stuff that which previously wouldn't be possible. But for me,
it was enabling.
But for me, it was in December 2025, so not long ago, when I tried the Opus 4.5, and that when I tried it, it was the wow moment. It was like, wow, this is amazing. So it got to the point where I'm really impressed. It can give me some ideas which I didn't have before. It can aggregate so much information, and the output, it's actually very valuable. Even if sometimes it derails and it hallucinates, it's still I would say 80% of the time it provides a lot of value. And then I started to also question how I would how I did before. Even with humans, you cannot always expect only to get like good ideas. Sometimes we are also hallucinating. So sometimes we also have bad ideas, and you cannot expect even if there's something that you cannot even expect from humans. Why would you expect a machine not to make any mistakes? Because we also make mistakes. So I think that I'm using Claude. I'm using Claude Code. I'm using Opus. I try to use Opus as much as possible because it's a very good model. And I'm using Claude Code for my PhD. where I try to do a lot of prototypes, and I try there. You want to focus more on the research part than on the development part, and that's where I need to build rapidly a lot of prototypes, and that's where AI helps me a lot. I can now do my PhD and do it like in 2 years. Previously, it would have been impossible because you'd have to do so much and you wouldn't have time. But now I can do it because I have, using AI, I can do, because I can focus on research, and for everything else, I can delegate a lot of tasks to AI. And for development, whenever, like for my open source projects, or for when I want to investigate something very complex, I'm using Copilot, also with Opus. I'm using Copilot because I got a free I get like a free subscription to give it a try, a part of the Java Champion program, and actually I really like it. I really like the way that I'm using Copilot in IntelliJ IDEA. I have access to Opus as well there, so I think that that's a great combination, because it very nicely combines. So it's like an interface between Opus, but also my code base there. So I like that combination for coding as well. So these are the ones that I'm using. I'm not saying that these are the best. I haven't tried Gemini from Google. I've heard that that's also very good. I've heard that anti-gravity is also very good. I was told by my brother that he was actually using it and he was very impressed. So I'm sure that there are so many tools. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to try all of them, because in the end, those are tools. So I need to use them to produce something else. So that's something else that for me that is very important. But these are the tools that I'm actually using, and I like them actually.
Great. What is your next big step? Your next big milestone?
So in the very, very short term, my next milestone is to finish the last episodes that I have for the high performance Spring Persistence video course, which I released in the beta version. I released it in November. It was around 50% done, but I continued releasing new episodes, and now it's also being sold in Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Japanese by a company in Korea, and they're doing it by dubbing my voice in all these 4 languages using AI. Previously, it would have been impossible to do it. Another example where you can take the technology and adapt it to a real to a real problem. So I had my video courses in English. They were available in the Anglo-Saxon world, I would say. So they were available wherever English is being used. But you have you have a lot of people that live in other parts of the world, and they also want to get this knowledge that you're trying to teach. But then you have the English, you have the language barrier. They're not using English, and they don't even have to use English, because they have a huge ecosystem there, and they don't really they don't have to be cut off from all this knowledge. And using AI for that, this company is called Inflab. They did it, and it was a success, and we wanted to continue. So we continue with this course, and now they are also selling it there as well. And people, they actually wrote us in the comments, wow, I always wanted to have this knowledge, but I couldn't because it was in English, and the English is not, I'm not so good at, it's not my best part. So, but now, and people say, oh, I didn't know that Vlad speaks so well Korean. And it's nice because they use even the timbre of my voice. They used it to train AI. So I'm speaking Korean there, although I don't know to speak Korean.
I applaud you for this sense of my product has to be fair, and I have to cater to people who do not speak English, because they don't have to speak English.
Exactly.
They shouldn't have to speak English to get this knowledge. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you very much. I think that even the language is a tool in the end. So we're using it to convey information. And if you if you can convey it in as many languages as possible, that's even better, because why have everyone learn a single language when you can try to address the actual problem, and you have to invest into getting close to them and providing in the language of their choice.
Absolutely. Vlad, it was really absolutely amazing. I once again apologize for the interruption and the power. And I would be more than happy to have you once again on this podcast if your time allows. I know you're a very, very, very busy person, but if that is possible, we would be very proud and happy.
Yeah, sure. We can schedule another podcast, because
Sure.
as you've seen from both my side and your side, it doesn't really take a long time to set it up, and
Yes.
yeah, we can definitely
Yes.
do.
Thank you. Thank you.
But this was recorded, right? So we can distribute
Yes.
it.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you very much. Highly appreciated. Thank you everybody watching this. And once again, I apologize for the interruption of the power, which never happened before. This is the first time in my life. But anyway, thank you very much for your patience. And please do expect another episode with the wonderful Vlad. Thank you very much, everybody. And molto masti, Vlad.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thanks everyone for participating, and looking forward for the next for the sequel, for the next part.
Yes.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.